Hi, let's study the structure of C programming, how a C program is written and what are the essential things that needs to be considered while writing a C program in the structured programming approach. Now, a structure of a C program starts with hash include stdio.h main opening with a curly brace and closing with a curly brace, and whatever comes in between these two curly braces is known as a body of a C program. Now let's see what are these statements which are written over here mean. Hash include, which specifies the file that needs to be included, and by default it's always the first statement of your C program. Hash define, these are the different directives that needs to be used, but hash include by default will be the first directive and the first statement that you have to write for a structure of C program or any program that you'll write in C. Hash define defines a macro substitution. Undef undefines a macro. All these derivatives we will see as we go further with C programming, but initially we'll be using hash include. Hash def undefines a macro. Hash if def tests for a macro definition. Endif specifies the end of hash if macro. Hash if endef, it tests if a macro is not defined. Hash if tests a compile time condition. Hash else specifies an alternative when hash if test fails. So these two are similar to if then else that we have in general programming structure. Now let's have a clear definitions of what these each are. Hash, the first statement that we wrote is hash define, hash include. Hash stands for a preprocessor directive which follows simple syntax rules. Preprocessor, as the name implies, is a program that processes the source code before it passes through the compiler. So hash defines for including a file which has the source code for compiling the C program. It operates under the preprocessor command lines or the directives. They all begin with the symbol hash in the first column and does not end with a semicolon. This is very important as all C statements, executable statements, end with a semicolon. The commonly used directives are hash include and hash define. We will see how they're used as we see the various examples. Now hash include stdio. So stdio stands for standard input output file. So stdio is std standard I and O for input output file. There's another header file which is included, which is conio, which stands for console input output file, and .h represents that it is a header file. The stdio.h is an abbreviation for a standard input output header file, and hash include stdio.h tells the compiler to search for a file name stdio.h and place its content at a particular point in the program as they will be used. The contents of the header file becomes the part of the source code when it is compiled. The basic two functions are printf and scanf for stdio.h. So this is the simple syntax of hash include stdio.h and its explanation. Now let's see what is a formatted output that stdio.h supports. The first one is printf. The printf function is used for output. It prints the given statement to the console. The console is your computer output screen, that is the monitor. The syntax for printf function is given below. It is printf. In the double quotes over here, whatever you will write will be printed as it is with the format string. If I write without a format string, welcome to C, it will be printed as it is. Now here is a format string. If I am writing, then I have to have the argument list supporting that format string. Now what are these format string? %d if I'm trying to print an integer in the printf statement, %c if it is a character, %s if it is a string, %f if it is a float, %ld if it is a long integer. There are few examples of the format string. We will see more examples as we see more programs in the videos that will be following. Next is a formatted input. That is, scanf is the statement. The scanf function is used for input. It reads the input data from the console. That is, when I run the program, whatever I input on the monitor, that will be taken in the scanf. Scanf again is between the double quotes and for the argument list. Here the same format string is followed, %d for the integer, %c for string for character, %s for string, and %f for float. Now ampersand, the address at which the argument will be stored, or the address at which this variable will be stored, is represented by the symbol and in a simple word or an ampersand in the programming terminology. Now let's see a simple example of how welcome to C programming is executed. I have the first thing, hash include stdio.h, the first statement to be written in the Turbo C compiler. Hash include conio.h, my main function. If I'm not written a return type over here, by default it is void. And clr scr, which stands for clear the screen, and this function is called if I include the file console input output. And console input output function, this header file supports two functions. One is clr scr, which is clear screen, and another one is get ch, which stands for get the character from the keyboard. I've written this program, printf welcome to C programming, and I close the curly brace. We have written the simple program. Now let's see how to save the file. The shortcut to save the file is press the function key F2. Otherwise you can go down to the file menu and press save. To compile the program, I can go down to the compile menu and say compile, and the shortcut key is Alt F9. And to compile and run the program, we go to the run menu and press run or Ctrl plus F9. Now after I've run this program, this does not have a get ch statement over here. So as soon as you will run this program, within fraction of seconds it will disappear from the screen. So how do we see the output? We see the output by pressing Alt plus F5, and the output of this program will be welcome to C programming. So you will see in a printf statement, whatever you write between the quotes will be printed as it is in the output screen. So this is a simple example of a C program, the basic example of a C program. These steps you need to remember to save, compile, run, and see the output onto the screen if you have not written a get ch statement. This is a flowchart for the simple program that we've written. The start, welcome to C programming, that is the printf statement, and stop. This is the flowchart. How to draw this flowchart and how these symbols stand, what these symbols stand for, you can see the video of flowcharts. Now this is another program. Write a program to find the sum of two numbers. Standard input output header file stdio.h, conio.h main. This is the start of the curly brace and the end of the curly brace, which symbolizes that whatever statements written inside are executable. Integer a, b, and sum. So this is a variable declaration. All the three are of the type integer. Enter the first number, %d ampersand a. So I scan the first number a, and its value will be stored at the address of a, and %d. Suppose let's say we've entered the value 10. Enter the second number, and we say we've entered the value 20. Now sum is equal to a plus b, so 10 plus 20 is 30, so sum will have the value 30. Printf /n. Now this stands for go to the next line. This is a special character /n which is used to move to the next line. I've moved over here. So what happens when I run this and execute this program? Enter the number will be printed. I'll enter end over here, 10 over here, and when I press enter, it moves to the next line. So the sum of the two numbers, you will see it is written a, b and sum. So the output will be the sum of the two numbers is 10 and 20 is 30. Now this percentage d is attached to the variable we write the way we write. If we switch the values, then b will be printed first, a will be printed later, and sum will be printed later. Percentage will follow how we write our variables and arguments in this part of my printf statement. Get ch, so it will wait till I enter a character and then the program will terminate. So this is an example, again another example I've taken. The first number is 30. I press enter, so it moved to the next line. Second number is 49. So I entered, it entered the second line. So the sum of two numbers 30 and 49 is 79. So this is how my program executes. Thank you. This is how a structure of a simple C program is used to execute the C program. Thank you.